skills really matter. Research isn't complete until it's communicated. If you did some research, you communicate it, tell it to others. And how do you tell it to others? You don't tell it to your relatives or to your friends who are in some other field, isn't it? You tell them to like-minded researchers, to those who are working in the similar setting, and to then later serve as a bigger purpose for your uh, in your field, to be known that yes, this is what I found, this is what is my contribution to the field that I have long been associated with. So it increases chances of publication and citation. When you have better, when you have polished your writing skills, it will increase your chances of getting that work published. Um, make make your research understandable to others. You have to write in such a way that your research can be understood even by a layman, maybe even by a primary teacher who would want to read, right, your paper, because she found, okay, fine, your article is really really interesting, or that it is on the same environment that she lives in, maybe on the village or maybe in the town that she lives in, right? So she should be able to understand. She shouldn't there's no way that they are going to say, oh wow, wonderful, wonderful language, nice jargons, and they won't say that. They will be like, okay, I don't feel like reading it because it's just too much of technical words, I'm not able to understand it, something like that. So your manuscript or your report should be understandable by somebody um, who is not even in your field. So build your academic reputation. If you write well, many people read you, and that is how you build your academic reputation. Great research hidden in poor writing is like a diamond that is locked in a drawer. So you wouldn't want to lock your manuscript in a drawer. You would want it to be written. You would want it to be read, right? And yes, so core principles of good academic writing: clarity. There has to be clarity. Use simple words instead of using utilize. You use. Very simple, as simple as that. You don't require a chat GPT for it or any other AI. Brevity. The sentences should be very small, and there should be not something that is, not necessary. Unnecessary things should not be there. Precision. Use accurate terms. Avoid vague phrases. Some studies suggest, so you have to speak of the which studies suggest rather than saying some studies suggest. So it's just one straightforward way of telling that. And logical flow: each paragraph one idea, connect one paragraph to another, connect one sentence to another. Use those connecting words like however, in contrast, therefore, and things like that. So find such. So I have given you one suggestion. There is this one course on Coursera. It is free. You can all attend this. It is run by Stanford University. um, a wonderful teacher. Her name is Christine Sainani. So she instructs this course. It goes by the name Writing in the Sciences. Wonderful course. I would tell you, I have taken it 3 4 times. My God, I have lost a track of whether I went even in order. But then best is once you complete writing your thesis or your manuscript, go to this particular course one by one. Just find this course, because I couldn't yes, on Coursera you have this course which is run by Stanford University. Dr. Christine Sainani is a wonderful lady. Smiles all throughout her lectures and tells you stories and gives you examples, and they you will find them very relevant to the kind of work that you are going through and things like that. So you will enjoy her lectures. They are just 5 minutes, 3 minutes, like that, so you feel good about it. So you can just take a walk after half an hour and come back and do it. So what I would say is complete your manuscript and then go to her lectures, and one lecture by one lecture, your thesis will also take a wonderful shape, right? So do take that particular course. I always tell my students, whoever comes to me for any writing suggestions, just go through her lectures. Wonderful class. So common mistakes: overloading with jargons. We have already discussed it. Some terms that only you know, or your fraternity knows, or your field people knows. Somebody else might not knowing it. Avoid using them wherever it is possible. Copy pasting instead of paraphrasing. It will bring plagiarism risk. writing results discussions mixed. So when you write your results and discussions together, that's something that you have to avoid. You have to write your results separately and write your discussions separately. Often we just write our manuscript. I remember my third manuscript that got published. I was just in a hurry. I thought I grew overconfident about the language that I have used, and without any proofreading I happened to send it across. So there were so many grammar mistakes, silly grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes were there. Even r spellings were wrong. I have written aer. It's just silly. So you don't want to be seen as silly as I was seen that time. You have to follow the formatting that has been asked for, so you cannot neglect them. And one more thing that I would want to tell you, no, never write your results in just one section. Make several subsections to it. Okay, that's fine. So in your results, in your discussions, make sure that there are subsections, so that the reader feels that yes, he is going in order. So it should not be like, even in methodology, everything just, paragraph after paragraph, all methodology. No, don't go for that. Go for sub layering, like your cakes. No, the cake that you cut at your yes, you can use Grammarly. Yes, definitely you can use Grammarly. A paid version of it, wonderful. So what was I saying? uh, yeah. So if bring you a cake that just has one bread layer, right? So you wouldn't want to eat it, isn't it? Because it will be dry at the core of it, and then at the sides only it will taste sugary sweet nice, but then at the center it will be chunky chewy and no sugar at all, like that. So you wouldn't want to eat that cake, isn't it? So you would want to go for layers, those cakes which have layers, and then cream that is sandwiched in between. Wow, wonderful, brings water to my mouth. Yes. So your section should also have some subsections. They might be completely independent or might be one leading to another, but then subsections is the key. Again, I'm referring to this reference managers again and again, because I don't want you to get troubled with the references at the very last. Manage your references. Use Zotero, use Mendeley, whichever that you feel is good to your eyes. Find that all are equally important, or equally good. So they also help you in auto generating citation. You just have to click, okay, this is the author, and then the suggestions will pop up and you can write. So side by side, even your reference list will get populated. There are enormous number of videos on how to use these citation managers. Use them. Visual abstracts, yet again the graphical abstracts, these are very popular. There's a link that I have given to one of the graphical representation. It is on some coastal erosion. Just go and read those pointers, the salient features of this research that they have given. You, though you don't work in coastal erosion, you will feel like reading that particular article. So such wonderful is the story about these graphical representations. Then what are the best practices? And we are closing it here. Write daily, no matter whether you feel that I'm in a writer's block or not. Just write whatever that you know. Just write, even small sections. Just like my advisor told me, write at least 50 words a day. Is it a big task? No, just write 50 words a day, right? Then always draft, revise your script, proofread it, and then you go for finalizing. Don't be a fool like that of me, who just sent her manuscript as it was, and then those comments, I cannot forget them. So seek peer feedback before submission. Don't just send it across to your manuscript. Even if you, let's say, you revised it, proofread it, you finalized it, don't go for submitting it. Send it to your advisor, ask them to read it. If you want, you can also send it to some other researchers that you came across while you were going through your literature. Follow this golden rule. Write for readers, not for the reviewers. Reviewers will give you n number of comments that you will not like, but write for the readers who will ultimately read it, not for the reviewers. Reviewers are there to check how credible it is and how best you can convince the reader that what you have done is correct and good, and that it is brought to a level that it can be published in the reputed journal. So that is the job of reviewer. You have to write for the reader. If you feel that whatever reviewer has told you are not agreeing to it, change the journal, go to some other journal, right? So writing is a skill, it is not a gift. You are not born with it. Like my guide also used to tell me that writing, Diksha, is not a gift. It is not a gift. It is a skill that you build over time, and only when you practice. You improve by practicing, and not practicing once in a month, regularly, and using the right tools. Use the right tools to when I say tools, I'm not really talking about AI tools, okay? I'm talking about essentially, if I was to tell you, I am essentially talking about that course on Coursera, writing in sciences. Just take that course. So start small, rewrite one paragraph of your thesis or article today using these clarity principles. Whatever you have learned in here, you can use them to uh, you know uh, go through your